Do you know the people that just walk around and say society is so horrible and everything used to be so simple and they were born in the wrong generation? Well, those people have honestly no idea what they're talking about and just need to shut up, because if they know how nice it was now with all the technology we have, they would be miserable in previous generations. But this is different in the world of sports, because as time changes, so does the sport. The rules and the entire philosophy of the game can completely change in just the span of a few years. We see this in the NBA and we see this in other sports too, like the NFL, because in the NFL, running backs are becoming increasingly less important, and quarterbacks, wide receivers, offensive line, and a good offensive-minded coach is way more important now than ever was before, where you're throwing the ball 50, 60 times now. And we've seen the game of the basketball change in just the last 5 years with the three-point shot, how teams are shooting twice as many three-pointers a game than they were 30 years ago. Or how the center position was what you built your championship team around, like Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaq, all these great NBA centers. Well, look at last year. The Rockets didn't even have a center on their roster. Today, we're gonna go over someone who is affected by the era he plays in and would have been way better off in a different era. And the person we're talking about is none other than Blake Griffin. Very quickly, if you guys enjoy daily NBA content, make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out, especially as a small channel, trying to grow something, just an awesome community of people that love to talk about basketball. You guys are fucking awesome. Let's get back to the video. The story of Blake Griffin is really interesting. He was highly recruited out of high school. He was 18th in the ESPN 100 and had a grade of 97 out of 100. And he could have probably gone to any school of his choosing, but he ended up going to the University of Oklahoma, and that's kind of where his story starts. He spent 2 years though and averaged throughout his career 18.8 points, 11.8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, and 1 steal a night. And these are incredible numbers, which led to awards like these. But what if I told you what it's gonna talk about in our video today? What if the problem was at his 2 years of Oklahoma, he averaged 0.1 3-point attempts a game? I mean, why would you? I mean, he's way more athletic than anyone else that he spent in college. He spent half of his time with his nuts above the rim, and so why would you need to shoot threes when you're bigger, faster, stronger than everyone else? But in 2007 was a very bit different time in the NBA, and life was gonna get much harder for Blake Griffin, who only stood at 6'9" as a big man. Blake Griffin was selected first overall by the Los Angeles Clippers, and his time there was very, very complicated. And in the 2007 draft, he was taken over players like Harden and Curry, which just proves to you how much different things are now, because the way the game has changed, and specifically Stephen Curry changed the game, you would take a player like Harden and Curry way before you would take a 6'9" big. And him, DeAndre Jordan, and Chris Paul formed Lob City in LA. And this was one of the most exciting teams to watch in recent NBA history. But due to untimely injuries and poor playoff performances, the team that often wound up with a high playoff seed never even saw the Western Conference Finals. Blake Griffin suffered a bad knee injury and eventually got traded to the Detroit Pistons, which is actually my team, unfortunately. I mean, I was so excited when we got Blake Griffin. I still am. I love the guy so much. But we're just kind of in purgatory hell with the 8th seed, not getting a good draft pick, not getting a good seed, just getting swept in the first round. Anyways, with this injury, he lost a ton of athleticism and had to completely change his game from a high-flying dunker to a back-to-the-basket, mid-range three-point shooter. But unfortunately, he lost his elite athleticism and he never became an elite shooter. So Blake Griffin has officially become an enigma. So get this, before Blake came to Detroit, the most three-point attempts a game he had in a season was 1.6 with the Clippers, and the second closest to that was 0.6. In Detroit this year, in 2021, Blake Griffin is averaging 7.8 three-pointers attempted a game. He's a completely different player, not completely due to injury, but mostly the fact that his game has changed right before our very eyes just with how he's had to adapt. Blake Griffin has generational athleticism, but the NBA, where everyone's freakishly athletic and can shoot the lights out, being a 6'9" back-to-the-basket type player comes with some challenges. And I really don't want it to seem like I'm beating up on Blake Griffin that bad, but this is why I think Blake Griffin was born in the wrong generation. So players that were undersized and athletic could thrive and become legends in NBA eras of the past. I mean, look at players like Shawn Kemp and Charles Barkley. These are great examples. I think Blake was even more athletic than these guys and had better handles and was probably a better shooter before he even changed his game. And look at Jordan. He won multiple rings with Rodman, who didn't have a lick of offensive sense in the world, but could play defense, grab boards as an undersized big. You don't think Jordan would choose Blake Griffin over Dennis Rodman in a heartbeat? I guarantee he would, and Blake Griffin would have thrived. If he would have played in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, you could completely build your championship team around him. And I really love Blake Griffin. I really wish the best for him. I hope he stays in Detroit because I really love watching him play. But if not, I really hope the best for him. And all the problems he's had have not been his fault. If it wasn't for one injury and Stephen Curry entering the league, I mean, I think he would be an all-star, like, NBA legend. And my dream scenario for him would be an injury-free Blake Griffin in the 1980s. That would just be amazing. So that's gonna do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment down below what you think about Blake Griffin. I have a few people in my head, so if you wanna make this a series, or comment who you think is a player that was born in the wrong generation. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you all next time. Peace.